After so many years of information being sparse when it comes to Halo Infinite, after the July 23rd event, we finally have more information what this game's gonna be about, how this game's gonna look like. And I have concerns, and it's not the concerns you think. Obviously, I do have some concerns on what was shown at the July 23rd event, but I have a bigger concern, and I want to talk about it. But before we get on with the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. You can always subscribe to my channel for weekly content, and you can always follow me at Twitter at LordAddictILP. Without any further ado, let's get on with the video. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you with another video. We're going to be talking about Halo today. We finally have a lot more information in terms of what Halo Infinite's going to be about. It's like I said in the intro, I want to talk about it. I want to go over my opinions on what was shown in that event, and I also want to go over some of the concerns that I have with Halo Infinite as a whole. Now, the demo that was shown at the Xbox showcase was about 8 minutes long, and it wasn't a horrible demo, but there was a lot of things that was presented at this demo that has a lot of the Halo communities extremely concerned with certain aspects of Halo Infinite. But before we go over what they're concerned about, let's talk about some of the pauses that I personally saw in this Halo Infinite reveal. First thing I want to point out is 343 definitely went back to the roots that made Halo what it is today. They changed some of the core aspects when it comes to Halo 5. They gave the Spartans charges such as the Spartan charge, and they also gave them the ability to thrust left and right, and you could also do ground and pound movements with your Spartan. For the most part, the community adapted to this new playing style, but a lot of them really did miss the way Halo felt, and it does look like that 343 has taken away those Spartan abilities that they put on them in Halo 5. By the end of Halo 5, I actually really started enjoying the features and the movement that 343 put into this game. So I don't really care that they took it out, but at the same time, if you're going to stick to a type of gameplay, just stick to it. Stop changing it. Stick to your guns. If that's the way you want Halo to play, that's the way Halo should play. So now that we're back to this old gameplay 343, do not switch it up again. Now obviously there's a huge elephant in the room. It's how the game looked. Look, this game wasn't the ugliest game in the world. It looked pretty good, but Xbox has been hyping up the Xbox Series X for a long time now, and a lot of people expected that 12 teraflop machine to make this game look phenomenal. Do I think this is the ugliest looking game? It's like I said, of course not, but I do think it can improve. I think that with the amount of flaunting that Xbox has done with this console being 12 teraflops, it can eat monsters, that what we saw definitely doesn't reflect those statements. Could this improve between now and the actual launch of this game? I think there's a good chance, but I don't know how good of a chance there is. Keep in mind that supposedly this is an old build. They built it for E3. E3 was supposed to be in June, so there's still a chance that there's a good 8 months more of development onto this. There's a lot more people working on Halo than there was back then as well, so that could equal out to this game having these features and having these textures at launch. And also ray tracing's been delayed, so at this point Halo might need to be delayed as well, but that's just me. Now the issue I have has nothing to do with what this game looked like, because like I said, that is subjective to change, and it can easily change by the time this game comes out. It's no secret that Microsoft is making more games as a service because of the subscription service they have, Game Pass. It would make more sense to make a game that builds with the community and put that in Game Pass to encourage people to stay in Game Pass than it is to make other type of games. It looks like that games as a service has carried over to Halo. The question is, what types of games as a service is going to be with Halo Infinite? If you can remember, Halo 5 was in some ways a games as a service. They had Warzone. Now what happened in Warzone is you had these cards that you can buy or win in packs, and they would carry over to Warzone, and you can spawn stuff like tanks, etc, etc. That was their little bit of games as a service in that game, and that type was okay. I had no issue with that. Most of the time I just stayed out of that game mode. Now, if Halo Infinite sticks to this type of games as a service, I won't have any issue with what they're doing. My question is, and my biggest concern is, what does this leave and how does this affect the story of Halo Infinite? A lot of people are comparing this types of games as a service to Destiny, and I have a problem with that. Destiny is not Halo, and Halo is not Destiny. Destiny is a loot shooter. Halo is not, and I think that's the biggest difference to what is going on here. And 343 in defense has never compared this to the Destiny model, but they did say that this is a 10-year plan. It's kind of similar to how Activision and Bungie promoted the original Destiny. Games as a service works well for Destiny because it's a loot shooter, because they're able to keep you monitored into their ecosystem for those drops, for the events that lead to those drops, and they have PvE and PvP with those drops. As good of a game in terms of gameplay and the world building Destiny is, it lacks a good story because it's told in little increments throughout the years, and that's what I don't want for Halo. When I go play Halo Infinite this November or whenever the Xbox Series X comes out, I want to play a complete story from beginning to middle to end. And part of me feels like if they go this direction and they kind of have this similar foundation that Destiny's built on, we won't get that. We'll get the very beginning, what has to do with the Banished, and then 6 months from now we'll get something with Cortana. And to me, I'm not okay with that. I want a complete story. If there's one criticism that I've always had with Destiny, is that we don't get a complete story. We get little intervals, like I said, that leads up to something good, but it takes quite a long time to happen. Like I said, I'm just worried for the Halo brand. I love this brand. It's one of the brands that got me into gaming, and I want to make sure that it's done right. I'm not saying that 343 can't come out with some unique way of doing these type of games with Halo that makes sense. I have no idea what they can. The game's not out yet. The only thing I can go off is what I have seen and the information that they have come out with. And I also have to take into account the way that 343 has handled the Halo brand. And I'm not just hating on 343. Everyone knows that has been following me is I've always been an optimistic person in terms of 343. I even made a video on who makes better Halo games, 343 or Bungie. And although I do say that Bungie made the overall better Halo games, I think 343 could make good Halo games. They can make great Halo games, but at the end of the day, we cannot overlook the fact that they butchered the multiplayer for Halo 4, in my opinion. They butchered the Halo 5 single player, in my opinion, and now it looks like they might butcher the entire Halo Infinite because what are they doing? To me, they're trend chasing. They're seeing what other games do well and they're trying to chase that themselves to get that fan base, to get that loyalty that they do, and to get that money that those games generate. But like I said, I don't know, they could find a way to make it work. And I'm not saying 343 doesn't have the capabilities to make this type of game work. All I know is from a Destiny fan, if it's anything like the Destiny foundation that game was built on, I don't want that for Halo, because if I wanted that, I'd just go play Destiny. So 343, please make sure you know what you're doing. Obviously, it's too late. If this game comes out and it's bad, it's just gonna be bad. There's nothing you can really do to change this game at this point in development. Game's pretty much done. I hope you know what you're doing in terms of how you're making this game, and I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I have a lot of concerns, but maybe you have cracked that code that I don't even know yet, because at the end of the day, only you're going to show me, Addict, this is the Halo Infinite you wanted, this is the Halo experience you wanted, we found it, here it is. And for all you know, in 8 months to a year from now, I could be making a video saying that I was completely wrong about 343, and if I am wrong about 343, I will make that video and I will tell my audience that I, Gaming Addict, was wrong about everything 343 did. And not only was this game good, it's exactly what the Halo brand needed. And oh my gosh, 343, please prove me wrong so I can make that video, because at the end of the day, at this particular time, I want this game to be way better than be wanting to be right, because I love the Halo franchise and I just want what's best for it. But anyway, you guys, tell me what you guys think. Are you a little worried in terms of how the game looked? Or maybe you're like me, where you're not entirely worried the way the game looks. You're just worried the way that the game was built on, with this 10-year plan to continuously support Halo Infinite from here going on. Definitely put that in the comment section below. Tell me exactly your thoughts on what you saw at the July 23rd event. I'm very curious on that. Tell me how you feel about their new way that they're making this game and the 10-year plan. And also, I want to hear about what you thought about the graphics and how it looked as well, with some of the textures and the way that they designed the game in terms of visual appearance. But definitely put that in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.